I did travel the world, honing my craft as a fighter while wearing the coolest in spandex costumes, the most colorful, frilly, tight-fitting clothes you could ever think of. I started watching wrestling because of my grandmother. It was all her fault that I became what I became. Because when I was, I think probably about 6 or 7, I started watching wrestling in her basement. She was a huge wrestling fan. She was also the perfect wrestling fan. She hated all the bad guys with a passion. She loved all the good guys, and she would scream and yell at the screen, "This is, oh, come on, kick his butt, beat him up!" And then she'd be real quiet. But she refused to go to the matches. She didn't want to be there in person. She just wanted to watch it within the confines of her own house. Same thing when she saw my dad playing hockey. She didn't like to go to the arena. She would rather just stay at home and watch it in private. When I was about 12, that was it. I'm going to be a wrestler. The fact that I was 5'8" and 140 pounds or whatever it was didn't seem to bother me because I was just going to be a wrestler. That's all there was to it. Signed, sealed, delivered. Boom, bingo, bammo, whammo. Well, it's one of those things. I think wrestling is a little bit stereotyped as a bunch of Neanderthals beating each other in the head with clubs going, "Arg! Fire! Bad!" Not the case at all. I mean, we actually, surprise, surprise, have brains. I couldn't do polygorum rhythms or algebra or anything like that, nor would I want to. But I can discuss the finer works of John Grisham and Stephen King or Aldous Huxley. I used to have conversations about Brave New World with a guy called Kane, who's basically 7 foot tall, another journalism major, 350 pounds. He wears a mask and he, beats the hell out of people. One thing that people don't realize a lot about wrestling is we're playing parts. This is a lot of acting. It's like a morality play. It's a Shakespearean morality play with a good and an evil and a denouement and all those sort of things. If Shakespeare was alive today, he'd be writing, wrestling shows. I think you can't take yourself too seriously when you're writing a book about yourself. Because everybody's a nerd when they're a kid, and everybody makes mistakes, and everybody does stupid things, and you put that on the page and not write it as I'm the coolest thing since Keith Richards. I'm writing it saying, hey man, I'm just a guy that did these things, and am I embarrassed about some of them? How could you not be? I had to wear a mask once. The only time I wore a mask is the evil Super Liger when I was in Japan. One of the all-time legends is Jushin Liger. He wears a mask, he's got horns, and I was brought in to be his rival. I mean, it looked cool, but I couldn't see, I couldn't move, and I stunk out the joint. It was one of the worst matches I've ever had. To write this book with all those experiences in mind, I concentrated on the first 9 years of my career, because to concentrate on all 15, I would have written War and Peace. And even though my book is better than War and Peace, it's a lot shorter. I wrote this book for people that don't know about wrestling. They don't know who Chris Jericho is, and maybe don't even care. Like, as if that was ever be the case. Like, who doesn't know who Chris Jericho is? Seriously, anyone? I took this kind of more as a stranger in a strange land, follow your dreams, coming of age type of story with wrestling as a backdrop. Kind of like Catcher in the Rye with a half-naked guy in spandex hitting people with a chair.